If you want to know how to use social media as a real estate agent, I'm going to be completely honest with you. This interview will change your business forever.
In today's date, you have to be on social media to have a brand and to have a long lasting business.
Let me explain how crazy this is. Today, I'm bringing on Jazz Dillon, who in his first year did over 25 deals. In his second year, over 50 deals as a part-time real estate agent.
Even the first year, we did about 20 to 25 deals individually. And then after that, it's been 80, 90 plus deals yearly, every year.
Jazz is breaking down the exact type of videos, how he identified his niche, and how you can do the same. And it's super simple.
So I have from one property, I have now 3 videos. And then let's say I go to 3 different properties, now I have 9 videos. If the agent is posting 1 video a day, your whole week is done.
Now, the best part is this doesn't just work for Jazz. This is not a one-off case. His business partner did the same thing, and he's now helped multiple new agents in different markets achieve similar results.
I've taught people speaking different languages, even Spanish. So this works everywhere if you niche down, right?
So without further ado, let's talk all things short form content, Instagram for realtors, TikTok for realtors, and how to leverage the power of social media to close what Jazz is now doing, over $500,000 in commission every single year. All right, Jazz. So I'm super excited to talk about your journey because you've pretty much cracked the code of what the majority of agents dream of when it comes to being able to get clients coming directly to you through your content. And we previously had your business partner Near Where on the channel, and I'll link that below. But I'm really excited to hear what you've been able to do to become so consistent and drive so much traffic even when you were just getting started. So why don't you just give yourself a little bit of an introduction, who you are, where you're from, and why specifically did you tap into short form content as a new agent?
Sure, absolutely. No, thank you for that introduction. So my name is Jasper Dillon. I'm based out of Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and been in real estate for about 4 to 5 years now, and full time for about 2 years, 2 to 3 years. So when I started real estate, I actually relocated. I was based in Winnipeg before coming to Calgary. So Calgary was an absolutely new market for me. I didn't know anyone here. So it was a personal decision coming to Calgary because obviously at that time I also wanted to buy a first property for myself. So I explored Ontario, I explored BC. But I thought Alberta was the right choice for me. So even when coming to Calgary, I had what agents fear of, that they have no sphere of influence, no connections, no nothing. And I had a corporate job at that time as well, right? So why I decided to tap into social media, because I thought that that was the lowest investment, and I thought that that was the highest return that there could be. And I had no previous experience. I did have a YouTube channel before, so I was comfortable on camera. But yeah, I thought I had no previous experience with Instagram or TikTok or Facebook or anything like that. So that's where I decided to take my business was through social media, where it was, instead of a one-to-one conversation, it was a one-to-many. And even at that time, there weren't many people, especially in the community that I target, which is the South Asian community. There weren't many people doing it, right? So I thought that that was a good starting point. And yeah, been now 4 or 5 years, icon all the years since I've been in EXP, and joined with EXP, have been with EXP, and all the years we've been icon. So I think it's working out.
Yeah. Well, I'm really excited to talk about that, especially tapping into the South Asian community. And you guys have absolutely dominated and excelled with that. But one of the things I'm really curious about is, you know, starting pretty much as a part-time agent, you've got a full-time job and you're in a brand new market. And you leverage a format of content that you're not familiar with, and you're able to hit icon status. So let's talk about that. Like, number one, how many deals did you do in that first year from your short form content? And number two, how were you able to manage your time? Because I find a lot of agents will have this perspective of, I'm married, I don't have time. I have kids, I don't have time. I have a job, I don't have time. But you guys have been relentlessly consistent since day one.
Mhm.
How did you manage to keep creating content?
Yeah, absolutely. No, that is a great question. So certainly, when I moved to Calgary, I had a full-time corporate job. I was working in IT, right? So obviously the 9 to 5. But how I managed was very strict scheduling, right? I did have a schedule that okay, we have 9 to 5. What can we do after, right? So you do have a lot of hours after. So literally after work, it was content. The first year, I think we started mid-year, so even the first year we did about 20 to 25 deals individually, and then after that it's been 80, 90 plus deals yearly every year. So yeah, so in terms of what did I do was specifically when I was starting out, as I mentioned, there was no one in my community doing short form content. So I focused a lot in TikTok. Okay. Because TikTok has a very hyper local algorithm. Even if you don't have a huge following, right? If your content is good, you have a great, let's say you have a great intro, and at the end of the video, you have a CTA for people to call you, or maybe drop a word, right? So that really boosted up my business. So for new agents, I would say, especially if you are in a new market or you're thinking about starting content, a lot of agents disregard TikTok. But I think TikTok, especially for new agents, especially if you don't have a previous following, it's hyper local. You get suggested in your own market. And if you do great videos, where I know you teach a lot of that, like good hooks and how to keep the viewer engaged throughout the video, you'll do very well. And then you drop in your number or you drop a word, right? But if you're starting out, just drop in your number so people can call you directly. But yeah, that's how we started. And then it's not that hard. It's you just have to make that piece of content once, and that piece of content can be used on TikTok, can be used on Instagram, and can be used on Facebook, right? Personally, if I talk about my journey, I didn't started using Facebook after up until later. So I focused primarily on TikTok and Instagram. So just the same video, you cross post it, and I was posting at least once daily, but I targeted 2 times even right now.
Yeah, that's crazy. And one of the things before we start getting tactical in terms of the type of content and kind of your workflow, which I think is going to be really eye-opening to people in terms of your planning and how you're going from idea to edit and post. Something that I love that you've done is tapping into the South Asian community, because I meet a lot of agents and they speak a different language, they're from a different country, and they kind of have this assumption that so many people in my market speak English, so I need to start creating content in English that I'm not that comfortable speaking. But they make that assumption that they have to kind of go with the general masses. Whereas you kind of said, okay, I speak these other languages. There's a population out there for it. There's way less competition. So what kind of made you lean into, and you can kind of share the languages that you're doing it in, but what made you kind of say, okay, I'm just going to niche down into my type of community instead of try to go for the masses like every other agent?
No, absolutely. That is a great question. So even when one mistake that I see a lot of agents make is they overthink it too much. That okay, I'll just speak in English, or I'll just do this, so I'll appeal to everyone. Actually, you should do the opposite. You should not appeal to everyone. You should appeal to a very set of niche clients, your avatar, as you would say. So in the beginning, actually, I didn't know who my avatar was, right? So I was doing English videos. I grew up in Spain, So I also know how to speak Spanish. So I was doing Spanish videos, and then after I started doing Punjabi and Hindi videos. So I posted a bunch of videos, I would say 40, 50 videos. And from that, I started seeing that, okay, maybe the Punjabi videos are outperforming the other ones, right? Because maybe English everyone was doing, right? Spanish, there's not a huge niche here, right? In the market that I'm in, maybe Miami would be great, different, but in the market that I'm in, it wasn't. So then I started niching down on Punjabi content. And then after, we can get into the type of videos that I started to make. But yeah, so like, no one told me that, okay, you should do this. It's like you learn through repetition, right? So I posted 50 videos. A lot of mistakes that I see agents making right now is they focus too much on perfection, that their video should be highly edited, they should hire an editor. Even they haven't even posted 10 videos themselves, and they think that they should hire an editor, they should pay this, that. Like, all I used was this phone right here, right? So and I didn't pay anyone. I just, and literally all I bought was a mic, maybe $50 at that time. I didn't even buy a Rode or anything like that. So I had a normal mic, $50. I bought it and I just started doing it. And then once I started seeing results, maybe once I started closing deals, and I started investing into more and more gear. But that notion that you need to be perfect, you need to have all the tools, is a notion that, especially even within our team right now with Elevate Group, that I see a lot of agents focus too much on, rather than learning through repetition, right? So that's what I did.
Yeah, it's such an important lesson, and I love that you talked about gathering data because I see, one of the things that I always encourage people to look at is not what people are doing today, but what got them to that point. And what I'm referring to is people will look at you today and your wear today and say, okay, all their content is Punjabi. They must have just started that way and it just magically worked out. But as you said, you did English, Spanish, Hindi, Punjabi. You tried it all, looked at the data. And I see that with even YouTube. People will try local lifestyle, relocation, market updates, property tours, community tours. But after you put out enough volume, the data always reveals itself of where should you lean more into. And that's where it's that iterative process of do more of what works, less of what doesn't. And I think you said something so powerful is you didn't have your niche figured out in the beginning, because
Correct.
that's
Yeah.
another thing that people overthink is they feel like I can't post until I know my niche, and the niche has to be perfect, and I'm gonna die on this sword. If I choose a niche, it has to be that forever, instead of just saying let's get started. Right,
Yeah.
done is better than perfect. Get the repetitions in and build momentum. So I love that you touched on those things, and that kind of leans perfectly because you talked about just using this. Let's talk about your workflow, because that's another thing I see. I just had a conversation with an agent an hour ago, and he was saying how he can't put out content because these people have video editors and virtual assistants. And, you know, walk us through, especially in the beginning, Jazz, when you were a part time agent, the process you went through to go from idea to, I know you did a lot of property tours, finding the properties, what you're going to say in them, to then editing and posting. What did that workflow look like for you on an ongoing basis? Quick pause. If you're watching this feeling stuck, overwhelmed by all the noise, tired of chasing leads, unsure of how to close consistent deals every month with clients coming directly to you for free, I want you to know something. That's exactly where the agent you're listening to right now was before we started working together. And if you want the same support, the same system, and access to all of my social media and AI training, daily live mastermind calls, and direct mentorship, completely free, no extra split, no extra cost, click the link in the description to book a call. We'll talk about partnering together so that you can be the next success story that we're telling on my YouTube channel. Now let's get back into the interview.
So for me, it was very easy. I wouldn't overcomplicate the whole process. Um, what works at that time was property tours. So at that time, since you're new, you don't have a brand, right? It's not like I can sit here and I can make a video like 3 tips that will help first time home buyers, right? No one knows you, right? So you're not that brand, right? So we are realtors, we are real estate agents, we have a great product, right? It's not like mortgage brokers that they don't have a product to show, right? We have multiple houses to show, right? So I would, how the whole process would look like is, again, you don't have to reinvent the wheel, right? I did a lot of research on agents that were in a different market, maybe in the US market, maybe in the UAE market, right? What were they doing and how were they presenting that I could replicate in my market, right? So at that time, I was seeing a lot of agents doing property tours, maybe those speed tours, right? There was a lot of that kind of stuff going on. And then within every agent in the market that they are, respectively, they will have their real estate board, right? So then I would filter out properties in different budgets, right? So for example, I would decide, like, let's say Monday I want to do, I want to shoot content, and I would batch content. That's another advice that I would say to everyone, that like, see, at the end of the day, our goal as real estate agents is lead generation, right? But you cannot every day go out and make videos. So I would choose a day, Monday, Tuesday, whichever day that it works for everyone. And then personally, I would filter out properties that I would think in my market are a great deal, regardless of the market that you're in, whether it's a hot market or a low market. So let's say under $300,000, there's 2 bed, 2 bath. I think it'll really appeal to first time home buyers, right? So then I would, okay, plan for that property tour. Maybe I would choose a townhouse without condo fees for people that are already living in a condo, but maybe they want to upgrade, but they don't have the budget for a detached or a higher level of property. So, okay, I would choose that property. And then maybe I would choose some detached or semi-detached options that have maybe a rentable suite, right? So people with that mentality of living upstairs, of that house hacking, of living upstairs and renting out the basement. So I would choose that type of property. So I would try to showcase different properties that would appeal to different people, regardless of the stage of their life that they're in. So everyone would relate to certain different properties, right? So, and I would do it, I would batch it all in one day, right? So maybe I would allocate 2 to 3 hours, and for every property I would shoot 2 to 3 different videos. Okay, it's not like I would go on a property, I would just shoot one video and then I move on. That's too many, like, very much of a headache, because then you have to get another property. So I would choose, uh, in one property I would do 2 to 3 videos. For example, in one video I'm doing the property tour myself, I'm explaining the details of the property, how much of a mortgage would be every month, the condo fees, etc., etc. Then I would do just a normal property tour where I'm not in it, right? And then I would do like a background voice on that. And then I would do even a third video from outside, maybe different clips, and then I would join those clips, right? So I have, from one property I have now 3 videos, right? And then let's say I go to 3 different properties, now I have 9 videos, right? So if the agent is posting one video a day, your whole week is done, right?
Yeah.
But if you're starting out, I wouldn't focus on one a day. I would focus on 2, 3 a day, right? It's more about volume, especially when you start, because as you get more volume, you'll see what works and what doesn't, right? But I just showed you on how you can, from 3 properties, make 9 pieces of content, and this is all within 2 to 3 hours, right? It doesn't take too long. Especially for property tours for agents, you don't have to overthink it too much, right? Everything, all the details on the properties are on their, for example, they are on our board, right? So you can, okay, 2 bed, 2 bath, 900 square feet. You do the down payment, the minimum down payment. This would be their mortgage. If you want more information, you can give me a call, right? So that is how I did it, and even
Yeah,
up until
that's
this day, I do it.
it's so powerful. There's so many things I want to talk about there, before getting to a couple extra tactical questions. But just the fact that number one, you created leverage. Like, I love that idea of being able to do multiple tours from different styles. But like you said, one of the things we've talked about overthinking, and that seems to be the crutch of most real estate agents, is I see so many agents overthinking what to say in the video. And they think
Mhm.
they need to talk about like the material of the countertops and what type of like paint is on the wall and all these like nuanced features. And watching your videos, and I'll link all of your profiles below in the description, like you're just talking about the fundamentals that anybody could find on the MLS. Like it's the basics and you don't have to overcomplicate it. And I love that you've been able to do that and focus on creating just efficient content, which is so powerful. But one of the best lessons that you just shared, and I want to make sure that people don't overlook this, is creating content for different avatars based on price points. Because
Mhm.
this is another thing I see a lot of agents do wrong with property tours is they make the assumption that the big, sexy luxury mansions are going to be what catapults their business into the stratosphere. And I even coached an agent out of Seattle, and he was doing all the open houses at high end property tours, and he wasn't getting any deals. The next year, he went down to the average price point of his market where his people um, would be buying in, and he became an icon agent, did 30 plus deals in the next 12 months. And so I think, like you said, that's so important to know your avatar and be able to meet them where they're at in their journey, right?
No, absolutely. That's why I did what I did, because I knew like property tours were good. And one advice also that I would like to give, especially for shy agents or people that don't want to be on camera, you can start out doing just property tours and recording it at the background and just dubbing it, right? But at the end of the day, you are a real estate agent, you have to brand yourself, right? You can do a lot of property tours, but then if when you call someone or someone calls you, they don't know how you look like or anything like that, uh, you'll not have a brand, right? So at one point, it is good to start out like that, but I would encourage everyone to get in front of the camera and do the same property tour just in front of the camera. And as you said, just to your point, eh, the information I give is pretty basic. I don't talk about what's the thickness of the ports, countertops. I don't talk about those kind of things, because I'm not focusing on luxury real estate, right? That's where luxury real estate comes in, where you can talk about the brand of the appliances and all that kind of stuff. Like I don't even touch on that, right? So it really depends the market that you're in. Especially if I talk about Calgary, the average price point is like 500,000, right? So if I see a lot of volume in $500,000, why would I focus on 2-3 million? Yes, even if you focus on $500,000, if you have a strong enough brand, people in the 2-3 million will also call you.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is a misconception that a lot of people have, that if I focus on budget, or if I focus on the median price in their market, like the higher luxury will not call you. They will also call you. Why? Because now you're established, you're known in your market. People, anytime they open their Instagram or TikTok, your video is the first. So you have the presence in there, right? So you also will be first choice going into luxury as well, right?
Yeah, I love that. And so to kind of wrap up your workflow, what did it look like? So you record your content. What platform were you using for editing your content? And what did that
Yeah.
look like to then kind of like distribute it on an ongoing basis?
Absolutely. So at the beginning, I had no AI or platforms that uh, to mass produce and just upload it, and then it'll get uploaded by itself. So what I was doing is, obviously I was shooting everything through this, and then I had my attached mic. Then I used either CapCut, or there's another app which, these are all free apps, right? So I didn't want to invest anything when I was starting out. So I used CapCut, and there's another free one, VN. Okay.
Yeah.
So literally, I uploaded it there, watched a video on how to edit on YouTube, how to edit these videos, And then wherever there was some gap or there was some space where I wasn't talking, I would edit it, cut it, cut. So the video, then I join all the clips together, and then I would upload it. No fancy editing. I wasn't even using captions or anything like that. Just upload the video, and then I was doing at least two to, like, for TikTok, I was even trying to do 3 videos a day, right? So again, even if you study the content in today's date, right, today's date has been a lot of focus on highly big production videos, right? You'll see all this drone shots and highly edited videos, right, where people think that they have to spend $500 to $700 for just to produce one 30-second video, right? Why would I do that? There's no ROI for me in there. Even the big names like Ryan Serhant and other agents in that industry, they are now changing their content to have it more go on to more personal content using their phone, right? So that is what they're doing. So if those big names are transitioning from highly edited videos to now normal just phone videos, because in a space of AI, the more personal you are, the better. So why would I spend so much money into editing or videographers or anything like this? So yeah, so just to go back on my to your point, the workflow was I would shoot those videos, then whenever I was free, I would edit it through VN or CapCut, and then different times of the day, maybe morning, before going to work, I would post a video, and then after all my showings in the evening, at night, I would post another video. So then 2 videos a day. I think that's what got me there.
Yeah, that's amazing, and I love that you kind of really emphasize the importance of doing it free. Like, just do
Yeah,
what is simple,
yeah. I
where
didn't
you
want to
can
spend
get
anything.
done. Of course, right? And so, you know, the next question that I have is, what happens after? Because people are always curious, like TikTok, Instagram, they have different vehicles for communication. And so when it comes to actually going from a view to a lead, what did that look like for you in order to make sure that you're actually generating conversations?
Absolutely. So then now I treat my business as a funnel, right? So the top of the funnel is, and what keeps the business moving is social media, right? Obviously, once you've been in the business for a long time, then you have referrals, then you have people referring their family members, all that kind of stuff will come, right? But when you're completely unknown, the lowest ROI to enter into the game is social media, right? So now on to your point. Sorry, what was your point?
Yeah,
I missed
just
it.
being able to kind of walk through, like, how are people getting in touch with you? What does that
Okay,
workflow look like to go
sorry.
from view to actual client?
Perfect, perfect. Yeah, so then it comes, once you have that lead, that person calling you, then it comes into conversion, right? So that comes the point where the agent should know their market, right? We are not influencers. We are not looking for brand deals, right? We are looking to sell a property, right? So this is where the back end work is going to come into place. You should know your market. Let's say Calgary has 3 different quadrants: northeast, northwest, southeast, southwest. So I focus a lot on northeast, and I also do all the different markets. But you should know very specifically, like, for example, if this 2 bed 2 bath condo is for 350, is that a good deal or not, right? So you should have the background time in there, that to spend in your market, that what is a good deal, what is not. So when someone calls you from social media, that is going to the point, that they will call you saying, okay, I saw your video. I liked it. I want to see it. Your main goal from there is, one, to build rapport with that person. That, okay, what is your journey? Like, are you first time buyer? Are you upgrading? So that's what I did. And number two is from there to set up an appointment. Either you bring them to the office, or you set up a time to get them to show the property, right? When I was a new agent, I didn't care whether they had a pre-approval, whether they were just browsing. Why? Because I had no experience, right? So I always focus on setting up the appointment. Even if they were wasting my time, I was still okay with that. Why? Because I wanted to get those reps in and meet as many people as I could, just so I could understand the different personalities. How should I speak to a first time home buyer? How should I speak to an investor, right? So that is how the workflow works. That once, so in social media, you have two call to actions, right? So you'll have some agents dropping their number at the end, and some agents inciting for a comment. Like for example, I incite a lot for a comment, like comment the word deal or comment the word house, right? And from there, obviously, we can get into the background of things, that you have softwares like ManyChat responding into that and getting you that lead. But in the beginning, I didn't have any of that, right? So I was always dropping my number. From the number, the lead will call you, and your goal as an agent is to set up an appointment. That is the only goal, right? Because they just watch 30 seconds, right?
Yeah.
The same way that they watched your video, they can watch five other agents videos. So at the end of the day, especially if you're starting out, your goal is to set up an appointment. So you build rapport within the 2 to 5 minute conversation that the lead calls you, and then either you show them the property or you bring them into the office. So now you can spend time with them, build more rapport, and then be their agent.
100%. And so let's kind of touch on that for a quick second of, you mentioned ManyChat, and that's something many people are curious about, lead magnets, assets, that type of thing. How did you apply that to your business?
Yeah, so ManyChat didn't enter the equation. I'm trying to make this interview as simple as possible, especially for newer agents or agents that have established businesses, but they want to increase their business with social media. Didn't start using ManyChat up until year 3 or 4. Let's say year
Mhm.
3. Why? Because when you're starting out, the biggest asset you have is time, right?
Yeah.
Especially with social media. So when you're starting out, you're not going to get so many comments that you cannot reply to them individually, right? So in the beginning, obviously, I set up 2 times, maybe in the afternoon when it was my lunch break, right, at the job, to check out all my Instagram and TikTok comments and then reply to them individually, and maybe in the evening as well. Now, once you're at a level that you're getting maybe 10,000 plus views per video, right? Some videos go viral, and then you have a lot of comments. It's going to be very hard for you to reply to that individually. So then, yes, I work with a freelancer. He set up my ManyChat. So my call to actions are mostly right now, like for example, comment the word deal or comment the word house, comment the word buyer, right? So then once someone comments, there is a logic behind it, that they will get a message directly into their messages on Instagram, that hey, are you I just saw your comment, how can I help you? And then it goes into the whole logic, and then from there, even that logic, the main goal is to set up an appointment. Let's say the guy didn't book a Calendly call, then there is another logic that it will send out another message maybe after 1 or 2 hours, that I saw that you haven't booked a call yet, maybe you're busy, here's my personal number. So it drops my personal number, that you can give me a call directly, and then I would love to help you.
Yeah. I love that. And so going back to making it simple, like you said, for new agents, you've now been able to help a ton of other new agents apply your strategies and see success. So it's not like it's just you that's able to make this work. You've helped other people see great success and build momentum too. The question that I have is, you've shared your strategies with other agents and you've seen some succeed and some not. So, from your perspective, what's the differentiating factor between people you see succeed with content and those that fail?
Yeah, the main thing I would say is the hunger for perfection and consistency. Okay, people think that when you're starting out, uh, you can post 1 to 3 videos a week and you'll be fine. You will not be fine, my friend. I'm posting 2 to 3 videos a day. Like Hormozy or those people, they're posting 3 to 5 videos a day, right? They have huge media production teams, right? And you here are posting 1 to 3 videos or 4 videos a week. There's not going to be too much, right? Especially if your market is competitive, right? So I would say one is consistency. People maybe will post for 30 days and then after I forget, oh, I was busy. Or so you have to make it a priority, right? Because again, going back, that I look at my business as a funnel, and if there is no inbound, there'll be no closings, right? So I focus on the funnel. I focus on inbound leads, right? Instead of outreach. Outreach you can do, yes, you can do cold calling and all that kind of stuff, but that is one to one, right? I try to focus one to many and to maximize my efforts. So that is what I would say is this. And number two is just that agents focus too much on perfection. Oh, I'm not looking good in that video, or I think today is not a good day. It's not sunny enough, or it's raining today. It's snowing today, or who cares? Like, you're gonna be making a video inside. If it's raining today, just make the video from the inside, right? Don't show the outside, but at least put out content. In the beginning, my biggest, even for our group, now that we have 16, 18 agents, my biggest uh, lesson to or my biggest teaching to everyone is, don't focus on perfection when you start, right? Just do it, and people will react, will call you, and then you'll build a business.
I agree with that. And one of the things that I love that you do so well, because I watch all of your content too, is your hooks. Like the start of your videos is very interesting, energetic, engaging. It, like when you're scrolling and it pops up, it actually draws you in. What do you do to come up with, like, okay, you're at this property and you're like, here's what I'm going to talk about, right? So because knowing that the first 3 seconds is so important, how do you approach that?
Yeah, so that comes again into knowing who your avatar is, right? So for
Mm,
example, if I'm pitching a condo, I will focus, instead of the total price of, let's say, a 300, like we are in Canada, right? So the minimum down payment here is 5%. In US might be 3.5%, right? So instead of pitching that this is a $300,000 condo, two bed, two bath, I will pitch for only $15,000. You can own this two bed, two bath condo here in Calgary, Alberta. So that $15,000 is much more like, that's a much better hook than saying,
yeah,
hello, my name is Jazz. I'm going to show you a two bed two bath condo today here in Calgary, Alberta. Because again, as you said, you only have 3 seconds to get their attention, right? So I will do stuff like that, right? So for example, if it's a property with a rentable suite, right, with a legal suite, then I will pitch it. I will pitch the mortgage payment minus the rental. What's the monthly payment for that? Right? Let's say the total mortgage payment is $2,500 for the whole property. The legal basement suite is rented out for 1,000. Now it's 1,500. Right? So then I will pitch $1,500 to own this property in Calgary, Alberta. Right? So that is much more engaging than me saying $550,000. That is boring, right? So
100%. No,
I will
I
come up
love
with
that.
stuff like that, or I will also come up with, if I'm doing a more entry level property, why pay $1,800 a month when you can own? So why pay $1,800 in rent every single month, where you're building no equity, where you can own this condo for the same amount?
Yeah,
Right, so
yeah.
those are some examples that I use in my content. It's just about finding out more, I would say, strategic ways to get the viewers attention.
100%. I love that, man, and thank you so much for sharing those different examples. I think that's really gonna help a lot of people, and
Mhm.
so, Jazz, there's gonna be a lot of people listening to this that are saying, "Okay, I'm sick and tired, I'm stuck, I'm burnt out, I'm either posting and not getting results, or I'm not posting and I'm overthinking it," and they want help. And so you and I are partners, and people have the opportunity to be able to click the link in the description, book a call with you, and chat about partnering with us for free. What does that look like when an agent decides to partner with you? Because you have the ability to help people all across North America, multiple countries, um, because what you do works in every market, but people need the strategy, the roadmap, the feedback from somebody like you that is actually doing it in this market right now. What can people expect when deciding to open their mind, have a conversation, discuss partnering with you?
Yeah, and I'll before answering that question, I'll also for people that might have a limiting belief that maybe this just works in the section or in the community that I'm targeting. I've taught people speaking like different languages in from India, even Spanish, right? So this works everywhere if you niche down, right? So how would it work is, if you're deciding to partner with us, I will work with you. We'll figure out what's the best content strategy for what you're trying to achieve in the, especially for the market that you're in. I'm in Calgary. You might be anywhere in North America, right? So if you're deciding to partner with us, I would say that you need to be comfortable on camera. If you're not comfortable, we'll work out strategies on how to become comfortable on camera, what type of content you can start posting that will make you comfortable on camera. Because even when I started, I wasn't making videos before, right? Again, I treat this that I'm not an influencer, I'm a business person. But in today's date, you have to be on social media to have a brand and to have a long lasting business, right? So just to wrap it up, one-on-one advice, how to grow your business through social media, how to bring in more leads, how to convert those leads, what type of platforms I'm using to convert those leads, what type of content you should be making, what is the best content to make on short form and long form, because also I do YouTube as well, right? So those are the strategies that we would work out, especially on the market that you are, right? Or anyone watching in this video. So you can increase your business, and it is completely free to partner up with us.
Yeah, that's what I love about this. And I always say the most expensive thing you can own is a closed mind.
Mhm.
You don't have to be stuck. Like if you're watching this and you're not where you want to be, there is other paths. And the fact that, Jazz has mastered short form, I've mastered long form, and
Mhm.
people have the option to partner with both of us for free, we can help you. And so again, I just wanted to encourage anybody that's watching that isn't achieving their goals or their full potential to click that link in the description, have the one on one conversation. And if it's a good fit, great. If it's not, totally okay. But at least you'll be able to walk away with more insight on what you could do differently with your business to succeed. So, Jazz, man, thank you again for sharing your blueprint. And, you've become such a role model. And I'm so excited to see people be able to align with you because you're now finally in a position where you can help other people and do this in their markets.
Correct. No, absolutely. Thank you so much, and thank you for the opportunity to come in.
Of course. Well, guys, make sure you click that link in the description. And if you want to see the video with Jazz's business partner near where, check out the next video after this where he breaks down another perspective on how you could approach short form content to close 50 plus deals a year.